So traumatized was Flight Sergeant Bill Tate by his 2 years as a Japanese prisoner of conflict that 50 years handed before he could recount the horror to his son. Captured after his Wellington bomber lost an engine and crash ended up in central Burma in 1943, he was deprived, put in front of a firing squad, and had bamboo pushed under his toenails. William Tate, 61, has converted his father's memoirs into the e-book, Surviving the Japanese Onslaught. His father never talked about the warfare, he explained. To get him to discuss it was very difficult. Above the past 2 years, his son learned more, although his father could not speak for more than a half hour at a time as it was hard for him. William got a rough draft of the book before his father died in the year of 2007, aged 85. Flight Sergeant Tate served with RAF Bomber Command as a wireless operator and traveled missions stopping the Japanese People advances into China and India. The 6-man folks successfully bailed out and Tate spent 4 days and nights seeking to walk towards the Indian border before this individual was apprehended. After beating him he was brought to Rangoon jail, where 30% of the prisoners died because of abysmal treatment. His first beating, one of many, was inflicted if this individual failed to take off his boots in the occurrence of the telling officer. Having been then suspended from a forest branch by his arms after he refused to answer questions during interrogative. The next day this individual was in front of a firing squad. His life was spared at the last minute because he did not beg for mercy, earning the admiration of the camp commandant. Daily beatings by the guards were not unusual, often because a POW had bowed imperfectly or used a completely wrong word. His first month was spent in one confinement during which time having been lashed and tortured twice. In one instance he was deprived for a day before being provided with normal water and a dish of raw rice. They said that his stomach expanded from the uncooked rice that he was eating obnoxiously. A half hour later the safeguards returned, and forced him to eat additional hemp. If you finished pads held him down on the floor while one jumped on his tummy, he related. In early on 1944 his close good friend Paul Griffiths, who also bailed out of the Wellington, died in Rangoon jail from beriberi, an illness attributed to supplement deficiency. Tate said the fact his friend experienced to die at such a young age, simply by using starvation, persistent ill-treatment and malnutrition, crushes away at his thoughts even today. Following the war, Tate kept a promise he made to Paul in the deathbed and visited his parents, Mirror reported. Considering that the Western did not release convict names the Red Combination, Tate's family waited over 2 years to learn having been alive. Not really until May 1945 do they learn he experienced been found alive in Burma and weighed only 84 pounds. Still, Bill has trouble reading his father's story since it is so upsetting. Yet he does want the rest of the family, including nephews and nieces, to be aware of what happened to him.